everyone. We are from the Group E, and we are going to tackle about the 21st century skills. This is Novemi Mallorca, your reporter. So we are going to tackle about the 21st century skills. So what do you mean by 21st century skills? So advocates believe that schools should emphasize basic competencies such as cooperation, digital literacy, critical thinking, and problem solving to help children prosper in today's environment. But in your own words, what do you mean by 21st century skills? So knowledge, life skills, professional skills, habits, and attributes that are vital to student success in today's society, particularly when students move on to college, the workplace, the adult life, are referred to us as the 21st century skills. So now, we are going to tackle about the Metro 4C's rubric performance in arts. So, the Metro 4C's rubric performance are the critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. So now let's start. So what do you mean? What do you mean by critical thinking? So critical thinking is a self-directed, self-disciplined reasoning that aims for the maximum level of quality while remaining objective. They apply the intellectual tools that critical thinking provides, such as concepts, principles, to analyze, evaluate, and improve the thinking. So critical thinking applies with the information and discovery, interpretation and analysis, reasoning, constructing arguments, problem solving, and system thinking. Next is we are going to tackle about the communication. So giving and receiving, exchanging information, in other words, talking, writing, listening, creating is an act of communication. So a good communicators pay attention to what others are saying, speak or write clearly, and respect different viewpoints. So communication is an effective listening, delivering oral presentations, communicate using digital media, which are the social medias. So in this also, they are engaging in conversation and discussions with, like for example, the teaching and learning of what we had right now, which is the online class. And it is about the communicating in diverse environment. Next is we are going to tackle about the collaboration. So collaboration is a method of working in which people come together for a common goal in order to get a competitive advantage. So collaboration allows people to work together to achieve a specific and corporate goal. So which are the leadership and initiative, cooperation, flexibility, responsibility, and productivity, collaborate using digital media, responsiveness, and constructiveness feedback. Next is the creativity. So when we talk about creativity, people seem to have an intuitive sense of creativity. Yet creativity is defined as the ability to go beyond standard ways of thinking or doing in order to produce fresh and original ideas, methods, or items, which are the idea for the generation, idea design and refinement, openness and courage to explore, work creatively with others, or creative production and innovation. So now, let's go and discuss about the creativity and design thinking for educators. So was it Albert Einstein said that you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it, right? Since we do have a different perspective to take. So for design thinking, it is a framework for innovation. For example, you are going to inform an idea, right? You're going to inform an idea like you are going to inform an idea, then you are asking how do we solve it. So you have to brainstorm some ideas for you to get what's the bad or the good for a experiment that you'll be created. So next is the prototype. So what do you mean by prototype? So prototype is the start creating, experimenting, and then if you fail, you try again. And then now, let's go with the test. Test is you're going to question this, does it work? Like if you're going to have an experiment, you are going to ask yourself that does it work? Is it working? And then in that way you're going to implement the product, show and don't tell, to start to refine the product. So next is define. So define is you're going to ask why is it important. So research, you are going to research, you're going to observe the experiment that you are creating, then understand and create a viewpoint of yours. And lastly is the emphasis. And you're going to ask what is the problem, or how do you solve the problem in regards to your experiment. So it defines the challenge and explore the human context. Now next we are going to talk about the creativity through the arts of drama. So for the creativity through, these are the advantages using drama as a method of education in elementary school, which are the drama in education, the forms of drama, drama in school, views of drama in school, common character of using drama in education, drama in elementary school, and definition of drama. So it promotes the development of one's imagination and creativity through self-expression, decision-making, and problem-solving. Drama involves the following, as cited by De Luca in 1997. So these are the advantages using a drama as a method of education in elementary school. So that's it. That's it for my report for today. I am going to pass the virtual floor for the next supporter. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone. Stay safe and stay sane. Goodbye.
Good day, everyone. I will be the one to report the visual arts. And by the way, my name is Shanette Calapardo. So, let's begin. The broader definition of arts covers everything from painting through theater, music, architecture, and more. However, visual arts are those artistic creations that we can see, like sculptures and paintings. So what is visual arts? Visual arts are art forms that creates works that are primarily visual in nature, such as ceramics, drawing, painting, sculpture, printmaking, design, crafts, photography, video, filmmaking, and architecture. This is an example of visual art. The painting is called The Starry Night, painted by Vincent van Gogh. It was painted in June 1889. So seeing this kind of painting is fascinating, but we personally don't know what are the elements used to come up with this beautiful painting. So the question is, what are the 7 elements of visual arts? Let us start with line. A line is an alignment of art defined by a point moving in space. Line may be 2 or 3 dimensional, descriptive, implied, or abstract. A line may be horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, and even curvedly drawn. The picture states that there are different kinds of line that we can incorporate in painting or sculpting. Next is the shape. Shape is an element of art that is 2-dimensional, flat, or limited in height and width. Shape is a closed space made when a line connects to itself. Now, there are 2 classifications of shapes: the organic shapes and the geometric shapes. First, let me explain the geometric shapes. Geometric shapes are any shapes and based on math principles. such as squares, rectangles, triangles, and even circles. Next, or the other one is the organic shape. The organic shapes, these are shapes often curvilinear in appearance that is similar to those found in nature, such as plants, animals, and rocks. The third element of art, or visual art, is form. Form is an element of art that is three-dimensional and encloses a volume. It includes height, width, and depth, as in a cube, a sphere, a pyramid, or a cylinder. Form may also be free-flowing. Form is one of the elements of visual arts which pertains to the way that a shape or physical configuration occupies space. For a three-dimensional work of art like sculptures or work of architecture, form is the shape, structure, and arrangement of components like length, width, and depth of a shape. Next is the value. Value is the lightness or darkness of tones or colors. White is the lightest value, while black is the darkest. The value halfway between these extremes is called middle gray. Value is used to create a focal point within a painting or drawing. The human eye is immediately drawn to a light element against the dark element. This creates a focal point of interest. To create the illusion of depth, gradation of value are also used. Areas of light and dark give a three-dimensional illusion of forms to subject matter. The fifth element of visual arts is the space. Space is an element of art by which positive and negative areas are defined. Space gives the viewer a reference for interpreting an artwork. For instance, you may draw one object larger than another to imply that it is closer to the viewer. If you look at the example picture in the slide, if you compress it, it looks like the Holy Chalice. But if you gave space, it can be seen that it is a side view face of a man. Another element of visual art is the color. Color is an element of art made up of three properties: the hue, value, and intensity. Color can be used to evoke a certain mood or to create a message or sharp response in the viewer. The first one is the hue. Hue is the name of the color. Value. Value hues lightness and darkness. A color's value change when white or black is added. And the last one of the properties of the color is the intensity. It is the quality of brightness and purity. High intensity is equal to color is strong and bright. Low intensity is equal to color is faint and dull. And last but not the least is the texture. Texture is an element of art that refers to the way things feel or look as if they might feel touched. Texture refers to the surface quality of the work of art. We associate texture with the way that things look or feel. Everything has some type of texture. We describe things as being rough, smooth, silky, shiny, fuzzy, and so on. Some things feel just they appear. This is called real or actual texture. However, some things look like they are rough, but they are actually smooth. Texture that is created to look like something it is not is called visual or implied texture. And that's it for my report. Thank you and God bless.
So good day everyone, I am Nicole Gonzalez and today we will talk about the elements of a media arts. So media arts is the study of human communication through film, photography,
videos, audio, computer or digital arts, and interactive media. Creatively, students employ the elements of space, time, light, motion, color, and sound to express their perspectives, feelings, and ideas. So let's start with the light. Lighting in media arts refers to how the artist can create mood. They can show contrast by using dark and dull light, or happiness and joy by using the light and brightness. Light often describes the light source or light reflected within the composition. In realistic compositions, if there is light, there is shadow. Properly lighting a work of art can make all the difference in the world when it comes of displaying it. The painting that moved you to the tears in gallery might not have the same effect if it's always bathed in shadow or blasted with sunlight. Second is time. Time implies change and movement. Movement implies the passage of time. Movement and time, whether actual or an illusion, are crucial elements in art, although we may not be aware of it. An artwork may incorporate actual motion, that is, the artwork itself moves in some way. Time is one of the most common accommodations of any artistic work. In this painting, there is a strong and vibrant sense of movement. If you study it, you will find diagonal, gestural, and directional lines, repetition, and placement of objects to give an illusion of motion. Third is sound. Sound in media artworks refers to both natural and manufactured sounds. Artists can now create visual images in response to sounds, allows the audience to control the artwork through pressure pads, sensors, and voice activation. This sound wave is created using melted records and sculpted into the shape of a wave, highlighted by the colorful labels. Next is movement. Movement is used to create the look and feeling of an action in an artwork. It guides the viewer's eye throughout a piece. A sense of movement can be varied lines, repetition of elements, and gestural mark making among many more. Movement in media arts refers to the movement of subject within a space. The most effective techniques for creating movement in your painting is to use bold and directional brushwork. By doing this, you can suggestively push your viewer around the painting as you please. Next is space. It is a fundamental element in each of the visual arts. Space gives the viewer a reference for interpreting an artwork. For instance, you may draw one object larger than another to imply that it is closer to the viewer. Space in a work of art refers to a feeling. It can also refer to the artist's use of the area within a picture plane. Space is not something that was always represented with the pure artistic ideas behind it. Sometimes, the needs coming from the outside of the artistic world influence the way space was understood and depicted. Lastly, the composition. It is the elements of composition in art used to arrange or organize the visual components in a way that is pleasing to the artist and one hopes the viewer. They help give structure to the layout of the painting and the way of the subject is presented. Composition gives layout and structure to each art and piece, and also affects the way the subject is perceived and understood. It leads the eye of the observer through the image and emphasizes the focal point. Unity links all elements of composition together. Composition is perhaps the most overlooked aspect of art creation. It is also one of the most important aspects to get right. If your composition is weak, then your work is also weak.
Good day everyone, I am Erica Pilera and I will be discussing the elements of music and the elements of dance. When we are studying or discussing music, it can be broken down into categories of properties that helps us distinguish different styles, eras, composers, region, and pieces from one another. For the purpose of this discussion, we will refer to the 8 elements of music, such as pitch, tempo, dynamics, duration, attack and decay, texture, timbre, and silence. First is pitch. Pitch refers to the register, which are the high or low Organization of pitches with patterns of intervals between them creates scales. Words that describe scales such as minor or major chromatic, goth, and pentatonic. Keywords that describe pitch are high and low. Next is tempo. Tempo is the speed of a beat such as slow, medium, or fast. Tempo can be easily determined through the use of metronome, an analog or digital device that clocks the number of BPMs through tapping or clicking at the same speed as the music. Keywords that describe tempo are fast and slow. Next is dynamics. Dynamics refers to the volume of a piece of music. Music can be described as loud or soft, or there could be a gradual change from loud to soft or soft to loud, depending on the performer's interpretation of the music. Keywords that describe dynamics are soft and loud. Next is duration. In music, duration refers to the amount of time or how long or short a note, phrase, section, or composition lasts. Duration is the length of time a pitch or time is sounded. A note may last for less than a second, while symphony may last for more than an hour. Duration is also a center to meter and musical form. Keywords that describe duration are long and short. Next is attack and decay. Attack refers to the beginning build-up of a note. That means how quickly an instrument expresses all of its frequency and if there are differences in the onset of harmonics. Decay refers to how long the fundamental frequency and harmonics remain at their peak loudness until they begin to disappear. Keywords for attack and decay are accent, staccato, and legato. Next is texture. Texture refers to the number of instruments or voices contribute to the overall density of a music. If there are few instruments playing, like a duet, music can be described as thin or sparse. On the other hand, if there are several instruments playing like an orchestra, music or the piece can be described as thick or dense. Texture also refers to the layers of sound in a piece of music. Keywords that describe texture are thick and thin. Next is timbre. Timbre in music refers to the unique sound quality of an instrument. For example, nylon string guitar and steel string guitar. Each of them have a unique sound, and just by hearing them, we can easily determine the instrument. Timbre can also be described using the term tone color. Just like in a painting, and the use of different color creates different images. The color of an instrument is like a painting sound to our ears to hear. Every instrument and voice have their own unique sound. And it is this quality that makes a piece of music unique. Keywords for timbre are strings, woodwind, brass, and percussion. Next is silence. Music depends on silence. Rest, pauses, and silence help to delineate and define different sections or the whole movement of the piece of the sound. Silence allows melodies, dynamics, rhythm, and expressions marking to have greater impact and bring drama to the narrative of the music. So they mark changes of pace or subject, allowing the listener to process the content and comprehend the structure of music. Without pauses or silences, music can be monotonous or robotic. keywords that describes silence is rest. So that would be all in the elements of music, so let's proceed to the elements of dance. Again, this is Erica Pilera and I will be discussing the elements of dance. The elements of dance are the foundational concepts and vocabulary that help students develop movement skills and understand dance as an artistic practice. The acronym BEST helps students to remember the elements. B for body, E for energy, S for space, and T for time. The body is the mobile figure or shape by the dancer seen by the others. The body is sometimes relatively still and sometimes changing as the dancer moves in a place or travels through the dance area. Dancers may emphasize specific parts of their body in a dance phrase or use their whole body all at once. When we look at dancers' whole body, we might consider the overall shape design. Another way to describe the body in dance is to consider the body systems, muscles, bones, organs, breath, balance, and reflexes. Next is energy. Energy is about how the movement happens. Choices about the energy includes variations in movement flow and the use of force, tension, and weight. Saying that a dance has a lot of energy is misleading. All dances use the element of energy, though in time instances it may be slow, supple, indirect energy, not the punchy, high-speed energy of a fast-tempo dance. Next is space. Dancers may interact with space in myriad ways. They may stay in one place or they may travel from one place to another. They may alter the direction, level, size, and pathways of their movements, even when a dancer is dancing alone in a solo. The dancer is dynamically involved in the space of the performing area, so that the space might almost be considered a partner in dance. Dancers may focus their movement and attention outwardly to the space or inwardly into themselves. Last but not the least, the time. The dance is based on units of seconds, minutes, and hours. For example, a certain section of a dance may be assigned a time such as 30 seconds, into which all of the choreographed movements must fit. When you achieve perfect timing, your dancing will appear relaxed and natural. You will no longer need to count beats, as your body will be fully aware of its place in the music at all times. Professional dancers are often masters at perfect timing. It is important in every type of dance. So that would be all in the elements of dance. I hope you've learned something. Thank you and God bless.